All rules lead to Shreveport. Yeah, man, we don't give it to the jury, man. We got to get to the money now. Time to get to the money. You see, I got that hole in my sock. I'm hungry again. I'm hungry. Got to get to it now. Let's go, man. Straight to Shreveport. Like, I'm going to get me one of these cigars. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to get something, smoke, relax. And I'm going to think about who wants the money. So I'm going to get that money. I'm going to go to Shreveport and we're going to do it. What in the puffy? What the fuck?
Get that Biden, we make Greenpeace outside. So you in here. I'm talking soon. Okay, you what? My phone running loose like can't be in the car. Or can't be in the car. Can't get money on my head in the field.
Can you name every member of D12?
No.
Okay. I'm going to tell you why you can't name them. It's because they all had to wait to after the second cycle of their leader. So Nelly's first album popped. Then Nelly's second album popped. And because those albums were hugely successful albums, it took a long time for the record to be over for them to get to the next album. So it was so long that they became the crew with Nelly. It's like D12's the crew with M. G-Unit, the first record came out, boom. I forced the G-Unit album to come out. Interscope didn't want the G-Unit album. They wanted the next 50 Cent record. He just sold 13 million records.
Right.
I forced that record to come out. It caused Lloyd Banks to sell 3 million records off of the momentum following right off of that. Buck, 1.8 million records. Then Ye like 800-something thousand because he couldn't even travel. On parole from the house, he did 800,000 pieces. And then it's like, okay, now we got to work.
Everybody trying to say 50, 50, 50, 50. 50 ain't make no shots as far as he ain't hold no camera. He ain't write no script. They already had plenty of producers to put this together. They just needed to sell it. And who's the best salesman ever of them all? 50 Cent.
He might be one of the greatest anti-heroes in entertainment. He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
If you see any kind of documentary, any kind of movie that's out there in our culture, if 50 behind it, they gonna buy it. And that's what it was. He wouldn't turn it down, because if you don't like somebody and somebody is now your enemy and people gonna give you a certain percent in money to do something to get at him, why wouldn't he? And he did a hell of a job in selling it.
You took less money to work with Dr. Dre than you could have received from others.
I got a lot of money, though.
That's not true.
He gave me a lot of money. They gave me a lot of money.
How much money did he give you?
I had $1 million. Like,
$1 million?
Yeah, out of the neighborhood, that's a lot of
A lot of money, yeah. Did Dre give you advice? Did he say, listen, here's how you should handle your money. Here's what you should not do?
He didn't.
He did not.
He didn't tell me
I
that.
did not.
He was like, you'll be all right.
I had an interest in Tyson's crib.
If I didn't sell it to him, there was no way I knew I was going to sell that house. Nobody's going to buy it with like 60,000 square feet.
18 bedrooms, 4 kitchens and 3 half kitchens.
Yeah.
A nightclub.
55,000 square feet. It's like a small hotel.
So I stayed there for 14 years, paid 4.1.
And how much did you sell it for years later?
I sold for 3.
How much was the upkeep of
The
guesstimate
upkeep
per
was
year?
About 700,000
A year.
It's going to cost him $25,000 just to mow the lawn.
Even though it's your house, you have a staff in that type of house. So it's like you live where you can walk naked.
After you have it for a little while, you look and you say, you got 18 bedrooms, but you only gonna sleep on one bed. Right.
Have you looked down a hole in your house and you don't want to go down there? I don't care what's going on down there. I don't want to go over there, huh? Things would break because you didn't use it. I don't want a big house no more. The only song that almost didn't make that album was Mini Man.
Whoa!
And it was because of the tempo.
Broke my heart.
It was slower than the other records and I wanted to keep everybody up. And then Dre was like, nah, that gotta go. You gotta keep that one. And then we put it, and then that was the end of it.
Yo, bartenders, look. Let me get 100 bottles of Hennessy, right? 500 bottles of tequila, and 600 bottles of Branson Kanye to put it on his tab. Put it on his tab. You know what this is? It's 50 Cent.
No.
It's on your tab. On tab, right? Yeah.
Nah, I'm not paying for that.
Nah, he definitely paying. Yeah, you paying for it.
Some rappers don't just record music, they build entire kingdoms for it. Hidden studios under mansions, $1 million tour buses, 956,000 square foot empires, and gear so rare, only a handful of people on Earth own it. These rooms shaped legendary albums, billion-dollar careers, and some of the most iconic sounds in hip-hop. And it all starts with a studio buried under a $40 million mansion. Most people build a basement. Dr. Dre built a 10,000 square foot sound fortress under his Brentwood mansion. From the outside, the property looks like a quiet French chateau. Underneath it sits a studio that cost an extra $5 to $10 million to carve out. Dre wanted complete isolation, No outside noise, no daylight, no interruptions. Just a space where the only thing that matters is sound. The walls are packed with bass traps, floating floors, and custom acoustic panels. The room is so controlled that even the tiniest hi-hat can be heard with perfect clarity. Then comes the gear. Dre owns 4 to 5 Akai MP1000s, multiple SP1200 samplers, an arsenal of analog hardware, and microphones like the Sony C800G, a $10,000 tube mic known for crystal clean rap vocals. But the crown jewel was his SSL 4000G Plus console, a massive analog board once used on classic sessions. When it hit auction in 2025, it sold for $165, the highest price ever paid for a piece of hip-hop gear. Dre explained his mindset years ago. I had 1 or 2 keyboards. I had to make that sound different. This underground lab became the birthplace for tracks from Eminem, Kendrick, 50 Cent, and Dre himself, all made without ever leaving home. But while Dre built a hidden bunker, another rapper built something even larger. A studio the size of a small city. Only 50 Cent could turn a 956,000 square foot warehouse into one of the biggest black-owned production studios in America. Located in Shreveport, Louisiana, G-Unit Studios used to be a city-owned property. In 2023, 50 secured a 30-year lease for an unbelievable price, $2,400 per year. Then he spent $3 to $4 million renovating it into a full film and TV powerhouse. This isn't a typical rapper studio. It's a Hollywood-grade complex with massive sound stages, Dolby Atmos mixing rooms, full editing suites, green screen rooms, soundtrack recording booths, luxury offices, including 50's personal chamber. He kept his classic mics too, the Sony C800G he used on Indie Club, and the Neumann U87 from his old 2007 setup. Both run through a Neve preamp and Avalon compressor chain that gives his vocals that punchy low end. 50 once said, "There's 27 million in that building that I put in." But while 50 built an empire, Jay-Z built something that felt less like a business and more like a war room. In Manhattan's Chelsea district, there was a studio that didn't look fancy, didn't look polished, and didn't need to. Baseline Studios was the creative bunker where Jay-Z crafted The Blueprint, The Black Album, and countless Rockefeller classics. Inside, the atmosphere was gritty: cigar smoke, late-night debates, and beat sessions that lasted until sunrise. Engineers bounced between rooms carrying CDRs and hard drives, while Just Blaze and Kanye cooked beats in the next room. The main room ran on an SSL 464G and a 9000J console with outboard gear lining the walls. Jay's vocals were typically captured on a U87 running through an Avalon 737, a chain that defined his early sound. Baseline closed in 2010, but in 2023 it was recreated as a museum exhibit, piece by piece, preserving everything from the console to the ashtrays. It became a symbol of raw creativity. No flash, no marble floors, just pure music. But if Baseline was chaos and energy, Kanye's next studio was the exact opposite. Kanye wanted silence. Not LA silence, real silence. His 10,000-acre ranch in Cody, Wyoming became the home of a unique stripped-down recording environment, a place where he produced some of his most experimental work. Instead of flashy walls and neon lights, you get wooden cabins, concrete buildings, solar power, and a landscape stretching to the mountains. Inside the studio, Kanye used an Ensoniq ASR 10 sampler, Akai MPC 2000 XL, Roland TR-808, portable MPC Live, Telefunken and Neumann mics, Apollo Twin interface, KRK Rokit 8s and NS10s. Here's the wildest part. Kanye publicly said 20 to 30% of Jesus is King and Donda came from iPhone voice memos he recorded on the ranch. This wasn't luxury. It was therapy. It was isolation designed to spark creativity. Meanwhile, back in the South, another rapper built something completely opposite, a mansion so big that the studio was only a small part of it. 9 million, people didn't understand how massive it really was. The mansion spans 45,000 to 54,000 square feet and sits on 322 acres. Inside the basement, Ross built a polished studio designed for trap production. Neumann, U87 and Telefunken, Elam 251 mics, Avalon and Neve preamps. Augsburger Duo monitors, 10K, 15K per pair. Adjacent gym, theater, bowling alley, and indoor pool. A private road cutting through the estate, Ross even mows his own grass, on a tractor with air conditioning. But while Ross created a luxury fortress, Eminem went the opposite direction. Quiet privacy. Eminem's 17,000 square feet home in Michigan wasn't flashy, but the basement studio was his safe zone, where he wrote some of his darkest, most emotional music. He recorded with Sennheiser SKM 5200 wireless mic for aggressive takes, Neumann U87 for neutral tone, Sony C800G for warmth, Avalon VT737SP and Neve 1073 preamps, SSL 4000G console, Focal Trio monitors. The house had a private gym, theater, pool, and gated entry for complete isolation. Eminem sold it years later, but fans still call it the birthplace of modern Marshall. But now, let's move west, to a studio that looks like a spaceship. When Snoop Dogg opened Beach City in 2016, he wasn't making a studio. He was making a cultural headquarters. This 20,000 square feet complex near LAX includes Mothership Studio A, main control room, Battleship Studio B, surround sound, Starship Studio C, writing room, a radio suite, a car showroom, a basketball court. The gear list is insane. Neve Genesis 64 channel console, custom Augsburger Quattro 410 monitors with 10,000 watts, Telefunken Elam 251 for vocals, Avid Pro Tools, HDX, MPC 3000, and Roland TR 808. The rooms look like sci-fi chambers, glowing panels, futuristic design, and vibes straight out of an alien movie set. But long before Snoop built a space station-themed studio, OutKast bought a legendary Atlanta facility and turned it into a creative playground. OutKast bought the former Bosstown Studios Indie 8 and turned it into their own creative universe. The place spans 5,000 to 10,000 square feet with a massive warehouse room for full bands, smaller writing rooms, a Pro Tools suite, a giant vocal booth, tape machines for vintage texture. In 2024, they installed a brand new SSL Duality Fuse console worth over $100K, replacing their old SSL 4000G+. Custom Augsburger mains tuned twice a year deliver the punchy low-end Atlanta is known for. Killer Mike, and countless others. And then there's Pharrell, who didn't just build a studio, he built a creative museum. Pharrell's LA home studio reflects his entire artistic identity. Bright, colorful, and full of unusual gear. Inside, you'll find an AMEC G2520 console, only 7 ever made, Neumann U67 TLM 103 TLM 170, Telefunken ELAM 251, AKG C12 VR, custom Augsburger mains, R10 sampler, Roland JV series modules, microKORG keyboard, Access Virus synth, motif rack. The walls are covered in vibrant art. Shoes from Billionaire Boys Club sit alongside rare synths. A grand piano rests under floor-to-ceiling windows. It feels less like a studio and more like a designer's lab. But now we go to the most unexpected studio on this list, a rolling laboratory built on a luxury tour bus. Timbaland didn't want to stop working just because he was on tour. 3 to 2 million mobile studio, turning a luxury bus into a traveling hit machine. Inside it has an SSL Matrix console, custom Augsburger speakers, gold-plated Neumann U87, KRK VXT4 monitors, Genelec 7380 subwoofers, Yamaha Motif ES7 workstation, Open Labs Timbaland controller. The interior is engineered with a room-within-a-room design so road vibration doesn't interfere with recording. Marble floors, LED lighting, and climate control give it the feel of a high-end lounge rather than a moving vehicle. Tim used this setup to create tracks for Justin Timberlake, Missy Elliott, Nelly Furtado, and others, all while traveling between shows. It's probably the most unique studio in the industry. Each of these studios represents the artist who built it. Dre built precision, 50 built power, Jay built culture, Kanye built solitude, Ross built luxury, Eminem built privacy, Snoop built community, OutKast built innovation. Pharrell built art. Timbaland built mobility. They prove one thing: it's not just the price tag that creates greatness, it's the vision behind the room. If you enjoyed exploring these studios, the next video on your screen dives into more hidden, rare, and unbelievable spaces in music. Tap it and keep the journey going.